Chapter 16. Stella led the way down the mountain. Sometimes she tumbled head over heels on the steep parts. Nicholas and Edward found a path among the boulders and tree roots. They came to the grassy trails used by skiers in the winter and stopped on a granite ledge.
In the winter, I don't venture too far from my den. But sometimes I am out and about on a clear day, and I tell you I've seen some strange things on these trails.
Nicholas looked down the slopes.
See those poles with chairs?
Stella asked.
Well, I've seen folks ride them to the top of the mountain. They strap boards to their feet and slide this way and that on the snow. As soon as they get to the bottom, they ride the chair back up and do it all over again. It just makes no sense,
Stella said, shaking her head. What's in that building? Nicholas asked, looking at the base of the mountain.
That's where we are headed,
Stella said.
If we get down there in time, that is.
Stella headed off again. When they reached the base of the mountain, Stella hid under a big deck built on the back of the building.
Now we just wait here,
she said to Nicholas and Edward, who crouched next to her. What exactly are we waiting for? Edward asked. We certainly got here in a hurry.
Why, we're waiting for your ride to the coast,
Stella said.
A truck from a big city on the coast stops here every week in the fall.
A truck? Nicholas asked. How will we ever get on a truck?
Be patient. I'll show you how when the truck gets here,
Stella said. They didn't have long to wait. A yellow and blue truck rolled up to the building.
I told you it would come. That truck is full of seafood. Now they're going to have to unload the fish. When they go into the building, that's your chance. Now stay out of sight.
2 men from the truck opened the back and walked into the building with big plastic totes. Nicholas could see mist roll out of the truck. It looks kind of cold in there, he said.
Well, I suspect so. They want to keep the fish fresh now, don't they? Stella said. It won't be cold on the way back when the truck is empty now, will it? She added.
Nicholas had his doubts, but he had to trust Stella. He didn't see any other way.
Now is our chance, Stella said. We best make a run for it.
Nicholas and Edward ran along behind. They got to the big open doors and stared up. Stella stretched up, put her front paws on the truck, and called over her shoulder.
Climb on up, fellas. I'll hold on while you get inside.
Nicholas and Edward scrambled over Stella's back and jumped from her head. They turned around to face her from inside the truck. Goodbye, Stella. I'll never forget that sunrise. Yes, Stella, you have been more than kind, Edward added. I shall always think kindly of you.
Go on inside now, Stella said. You don't want those 2 men to see you. I'll be waiting for word of you from my friends out in the wide world.
The door of the building opened. There's no fish in there for you, Stella heard one of the men say. Now scat! Stella hopped down and waddled off toward the trees. Nicholas and Edward hid under some burlap bags. Make sure there aren't any more raccoons up there, one man said to the other. It looks all clear, the other man said, closing the doors. Let's get going. It looks like we're in for some weather. I don't like driving in the rain. The truck rumbled off with Nicholas and Edward bouncing around in the back. There was no way to look outside. They could hear rain drumming on the roof and water splashing against the side of the truck. Edward kept up a running story about his family history. Mostly Nicholas dozed, dreaming he was riding on Shirley's back, heading home to his mom and dad. Nicholas was jolted awake by the sound of squealing tires, then silence. The rain continued outside. As the door opened, a rumble of thunder boomed in the night. One man climbed up into the truck. Nicholas and Edward stayed hidden. "Grab those bags," the other man said. "When they're filled, we can get them back." They dropped the bags on the ground next to a metal building. Nicholas listened and heard the truck drive away.
"Hey, Edward," he whispered. "Are you all right?"
A flash of lightning lit up the night. Nicholas saw a house bobbing up and down in the storm.
"Come on, Edward. Let's go get inside."
The two small animals scrambled over ropes and nets and found a small opening in the side of the house. They curled up in a warm, snug spot. It was quiet and dry. As Nicholas fell asleep, he wondered about this unusual house and the adventures that lay ahead.